So yesterday, the Tesla Model S and Model X interior refresh particularly from the exterior, they're very much the same. They were dropped. There was lots of talks about it. I'm gonna kind of just run through a few of the interior updates that we've now got on the new Model S and Model X. So I think the big one that really stands out to everybody is the steering wheel. I'm not sure if you can even call it the steering wheel. The new shape
The
of it.
half wheel.
The half wheel. Okay. So we've got wireless charging, which we were expecting. There's a horizontal 17-inch touchscreen, center touchscreen now. So this traditionally on the Model X and the Model S has been vertical. This is now horizontal, like we've got it on the Model 3 and the Model Y. And there is a gaming computer behind this with 10 teraflops of processing power and wireless controller compatibility, allowing gaming from any seat. Okay. And any seat because there's also a passenger touchscreen now. So we now have three screens. There's one behind the steering, there is the center 17-inch screen, and there's also a passenger touchscreen too. So that's those are the sort of key updates. Even with the steering, there are no stalks on the sides. It's all buttons now. So it seems if you want to indicate, you're gonna have to press a button because we can't see any stalks on the renders on the website. Lots of changes. So let's initially talk about the steering. E, what are your thoughts about the steering?
Don't like it.
Straight up.
No, I mean, no, I don't hate it. And I get it. Why it's funny because we talked about this initially, just the car itself. And while I was researching on GameStop, my buddy Sam sent me the images, and he talked about it. He likes that, he likes the design aesthetic. I don't because I don't drive like this.
I
I don't
drive
put my
like
hands in
this.
front. Exactly. That's the
I'm one of
first thing
those.
that just
I'm a one-handed driver.
I am a
It
one-handed, but
looks
I'm
so much
also
cooler.
exactly, and I'm also a cut wheel driver where I not like when my cut wheel. I mean when you've got your hand on, like, they always say put your hand on the 11 and the 5 o'clock position. So basically, my hand moves positions around the wheel. I use the whole wheel when I'm turning. So when I'm trying to do a quick turn, it's I'm just used to that
So
driving
I,
experience.
I think it looks cool in terms of practicality. Like I've not actually driven something with a steering like that. I know the Cybertruck was supposed to have something similar as well. I've never driven something like that. So I can't really give you my actual thoughts on how I would like it or not. But in terms of my perception, like in terms of me driving, proper wheel steerings for quite some time, I like that. And I mean, even sometimes when I'm turning, I'll kind of do the one hand thing. It took me a
Yeah.
long time to master that. When I was 18 and I got my license and I wanted to look cool in college, and there was no power steering on my car. Okay, so
Oh yeah.
it was
Yeah.
not
The good
easy
times,
for
the
me
good
to
old
master
days.
the one handed, because I'd have one hand of the gear, the stick, as you Americans like to say, and then I'd have one hand on the steering, and that was the way to drive. And that's how I trained myself to drive for these many years. And now we're gonna have this, what did you call it? I think is it called the yoke steering?
I mean, it's kind of similar to some Formula One racing wheels, but
Okay.
again, the difference there is Formula One has like such tight degrees of turns that really turn the car because such a low center of gravity.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, we'll see. I'm just saying
We'll
that I
see.
just preference wise.
I'm also interested to see if the UK is actually going to pass that because I'm not even sure if the UK will be like, yeah, you're allowed to have that. I'm pretty sure they're going to have like a version for the UK that's going to have a circular, like a traditional steering wheel, shall we say.
Yeah.
What about, okay? So that's the steering. We're gonna see what happens with that. I think part of it also might be because of the emphasis of autopilot, because Tesla now is really kind of ramping up their autopilot game and self driving. So I'm kind of wondering if that's kind of like a you know it's kind of like a psychological thing. That change of the steering is because you are not necessarily going to be using it in the traditional way as you would a normal steering wheel. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be
Yeah.
self-driving most of the time. You're probably only going to have to keep your hands on just to let it know that you're alert. So it's just like, okay, we're going to do this. But when it comes to turns, exits, reverse parking, etc., that's all going to be done with the self-drive system. Do you think that's part of it?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the push there. And it's funny you mentioned that because my buddy Sam said the same thing. He's like, I think that's where the focus is.
Okay.
Again, it's something to experience. I would give you the benefit as like I have to try it out, but a lot of my driving habits, as Saf said here, is the same. It's you
Yeah.
know that one hand wheel turn using
Yeah.
the whole wheel. So you're gonna it's like for people like us, we're gonna have to
To
relearn a lot of
relearn how to
things.
drive. Yeah. Okay. So the horizontal display, I'm definitely for that. I think that's really good. It just makes sense, especially from a media perspective. If somebody's gonna no, you don't like it, you prefer vertical.
No, no, I actually don't. I don't like. I've never liked any of these displays. I don't like. I like some of the other manufacturers who've kind of made the display part of dashboard. I just don't like that. It's like it looks like somebody put a tablet and just stuck it. It's like poor design in my head.
Okay.
It's very annoying. I prefer this over the vertical. I do.
Yeah.
But for me again, it's like a slap of just like, oh, we're gonna put a display, and a lot of
Okay.
people like it. I just kind of look at it as like
I
this is
mean,
poor design.
I like it. I do like that the Model S and the Model X do have the front display as well, because then that's kind of more in your line of sight.
Yeah,
I'm going to cover this in my review, but I would prefer, like, if my Model 3 had a
heads
head
up.
up display, right, where it's the projector and it's just kind of
Oh
in your
wait,
line of sight.
there's no heads up display on this.
There is. I'm not sure if there's actually a projector head-up display, but there is a display behind the steering. I very much doubt that it would also have a head-up display as well as the one. I'm not sure. I can't. Don't quote me on
I'm
that.
officially since I'm known as the person who doesn't really like Teslas that much. I'm giving them a ding for this because
Well,
every
it's not
luxury
confirmed. I
car.
don't know. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I've not seen any information about a head-up display. I know there's a display right behind the steering. So you've got one there. But in terms of actually a projected head-up display, which is in your line of sight and looks like it's in your front window. That's
Windshield,
what
yeah.
I'm talking about. Yeah, windshield. Yeah, so
Okay.
that's the one I'm talking about. The back display, that's interesting because that makes it a lot more family friendly, where you could have something playing at the back. There's the gaming element. I don't know the exact specifications, but you've got 10 teraflops of processing power, and you can have wireless controller capability as well. So that's going to be quite interesting as well.
That's
Kids at the
that's pretty
back
much similar
want to
to an
play.
Xbox One X,
Okay,
roughly.
so I mean that's quite impressive. Like, the kids at the back are going to be entertained for the longer trips. And speaking of the longer trips, so the Tesla Model S Plaid, is that how you say it? I thought it was Plaid because that's how
No,
it's
no, it's
spelled.
Plaid. No, it's Plaid.
The Tesla Model S Plaid Plus. I'm gonna talk through some of the features on here. The range is now an estimated 520 miles plus, 1,100 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 1.99 seconds, quarter mile in less than 9 seconds, tri-motor all-wheel drive, 200 miles per hour top speed. It's like fully specced up. Pricing wise, you're looking at around $140,000 or around £131,000. That's the starting price, and of course you can do all of your customizations. And the estimated delivery is late 2021. Now, I mean, it's for $140,000. A lot of people say that's a high price, right? Which is, but for what it's offering, the 0 to 60 in less than 2 seconds, the 520 miles plus range, the 1100 plus horsepower. So I mean, to me, it sounds like obviously it's more of a specialist car. It's not something that everybody's going to buy. You've got the regular Model S as well, which is going to be more of an accessible option. So shall we say to more people, coming in at, I think it's around 80,000. This is obviously the more expensive model, and it's more specialist, but it's offering a lot. What do you think, E?
I mean, it's good. It's good because this is a response to Lucid Air. When Lucid Air made the announcements last year, they said their car was coming this year. They had a Air Grand Touring at 517 miles for range. And I remember then also Elon Musk put out a tweet says the Plaid is coming. And I think they had hinted the Plaid was going to do over 500, didn't give the specific amount. So again, competition. This is why we have competition, right? It's good because not saying that they wouldn't have done that, but it forced them to do it probably faster, right? Or
Yeah.
move the timelines a little bit, which for me is always a good thing to see, and it's
Yeah.
good that Tesla is offering that. Plus, also the ranges. I like the ranges I'm seeing. Even the regular Model S, or at least the mid range is like it's like 390 miles or something like that. So you're still getting extended range on even not
The
not the
base.
Plaid, but the base models as well. So I think having that is key and great.
Yeah.
The thing I for me, my own concern is less of the electric part of the car, because I think that's something that Tesla's always done well, like from the get-go. I'm
Yeah.
more concerned about the interior, the finishing, the issues they've been having with manufacturing, like the doors not opening in the cold, which is what kind of has limited Teslas here in the Northeast of
Yeah.
America, because it's so much
Yeah.
colder. So those are the things I want to see improve.
I think
Where
those will. I
anything
mean,
else.
those will inevitably get better with time because especially with how many they're shipping out now, it's becoming a lot more common to have a Tesla. And the market is really adopting to electric vehicles, and obviously Tesla has been the driving force there. In terms of the Plaid Plus, a lot of people have been asking me, Saf, are you going to be getting one? No, unfortunately, I'm not going to be buying one.
Yes, he is.
Well, it depends on how many deals he gets me this year.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Well, I mean, you can always help by dropping a rating on Apple Podcasts. That will help this podcast get out more. If you're on YouTube, then subscribe, like, help feed the algorithm, and then maybe I'll be able to get a Plaid Plus. No, no, not really. I mean, for me, my Tesla Model 3 performance is doing great. I'm not able to use it as much as I would like to right now because of the continued lockdowns. So right now, it doesn't really make sense for me to get it, especially considering that the Cybertruck is around the corner. The estimated delivery for the Plaid Plus in the UK is always later compared to the US because of the differences. They need to put the steering on the right side and all of the other modifications that they have to make to meet UK regulations. But I will try to get a Model S Plaid Plus in for some coverage on YouTube and on all the socials, of course. So I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. I love seeing refreshes on Tesla
I,
vehicles.
I
So
have I have a question for you, since you're a Tesla user and I'm not, because I think there's also it might be a fundamental thing between car people and non-car people. I'm not saying you're not, but I'm just saying maybe you can help me answer this question.
yeah,
One of the things that Tesla has done, we talked about this with the Cybertruck, is the weirdness of design. Because on a marketing side of things, the weirder you make it, the more attention you get. The Cybertruck, right? For any truck person, it just looks like crap. But for hype and even getting the attention of the truck person, it's like the truck person is still like, "Why did you make this? Let me check it out." Right? It's that
yeah,
that kind of logic. Same thing with this refresh with the wheel, right? Yes, probably on one hand it's for what do you call it again, autopilot, but on the other hand it could be like when you look at it, you're like, whoa, 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 okay.
I
Can you
mean,
drive with that thing? So is this an intentional? Do you think it's an intentional thing where
I think
they
yeah.
they're attacking, they're trying to meet the people who are not necessarily car drivers, as opposed to the car people who eventually they think will come around anyway?
I think a lot of Tesla has also been unconventional because right now with my Model 3, it's so funny because I have Sentry mode on, and whenever I park it somewhere and I go, people kind of come over and kind of have a look. So, you know how you're talking about this tablet in the middle of the thing and you think it's lazy and stuff? I think it's intentional because it gets people's attention. and it's very different to everything else that you see out there. So as I said, I'll come back and I'll be like, all right, Century Mode, it'll say that it's got this many events, and I'll have a look, and they'll be like, last time I posted it on Twitter, there was these two girls who were like going over, it's like, oh, look at that screen, and they were like getting really kind of, it's like it was super alien to them because they've never seen something like that before, right? And again, the Cybertruck, like initially when I saw it, it's like I woke up and I was like half asleep, and I look at my phone and I was like, I thought I was dreaming, right? I was like, really? And then I kind of like got to my senses and I was like, what the hell is this? But then eventually it just started growing on me because I was like, this thing looks like it's out of like an 80s sci-fi future movie, right, on Mars. It's just super cool, and now I cannot wait to get it. And just being different, like there's nothing else that looks remotely like the Cybertruck. So I think it's intentional from Tesla and it works. So why not carry on doing what you're doing?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. There will be coverage. Hopefully, I'll be able to get a I was going to say review unit. I'll hopefully be able to get a loan on the Model S Plaid Plus for a short while and do some coverage. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to hear the full podcast episode, then that will be linked down below. And if you want to see more clips like this, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss them. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf Speaks, and I'll see you next time.